How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Fourever Arsenal podcast. The first review of the Premier League 24-25 season is upon us, and it's a nice review. It's a review full of smiles. It's a W, it's 3 points, it's a clean sheet. It's all of that, people. A great way to start the season. We've come a long way in the last 3-4 years, haven't we? Because usually that first game of the season is one that, can throw up a wild card. We'll leave it at that. But big up Jordan, Lee, James, as usual. Hit the like button, people. 1,000 likes. You know what to do already, people. Show Fourever some love. And leave your comments, as always, for comments of the day at the end of the show. How are you all feeling, lads? James, obviously, unusually not with you yesterday to watch the game at the studio. Lee, I saw you briefly before the game. And Jordan, I hope you did watch the game.
Of course I watched the game. Don't start Turkish. Let's start the season nice, and you know what I mean. Let's we'll get there, but let's start the season well. You know what I mean.
Yeah, I actually tried some of that highlight strategy. It was great. I was chilling at 3 o'clock. I did nothing.
James,
I picked up the highlights at 5:10. And I've got no idea what to say on this podcast. I've got not a clue. So.
I expect it from Turkish, but you, James, I expect better from you, James. I expect better from you.
That was a low blow, cheap joke.
No,
yeah,
but a good one though.
Lee loves it. Lee loves it. Lee, let's go over to you, man. Because first and foremost, I want to hear about the Emirates. What was it like? Must have been buzzing, noisy. You know, we don't get to hear the audio during the watch along, but it looked like everyone was up for it this season.
Well, nervy around the hour mark. I will say that.
It was great, but first and foremost, I have to say, like, you know, the minutes applause for Kevin was sensational. I have to say, very, very emotional. The fans just were brilliant yesterday. I thought it was fantastic. When I went to the funeral on Wednesday, they was talking about a minute's silence, and I sort of said, I don't know if Kevin would like the minute silence. I think he would like the minutes of applause. I don't know, you know what I mean? But like it just, I think spontaneously happened that it was a minute's applause. And singing his name and all that, like it was just fantastic. So, and it was very, very emotional and hit the point. And so I just want to thank every Arsenal fan for that yesterday. It was just absolutely stunning. And I know that his fans were there and they would have loved that. And I know Kevin would have as well, would have really appreciated that. So fantastic that was. I'm going to be really honest, because of that, the first 10 minutes, I was sort of all over the place emotionally. I didn't really get into the game.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the crowd was a little bit overexcited because it was 3 o'clock and been on the lash maybe or something, because I felt it was a little bit, I think the fans wanted something to happen from the team before it really clicked in and all that. And then Wolves started mocking us for something. I think they were banging the drum and all that, and they started singing some giving us a bit of stick, and that's when the fans rallied round and the Emirates started getting good. And it was good to be back. Good to be back with the Arsenal family, as you say, and most importantly was the 3 point. I'm going to be honest. Let's be really honest. It's never going to be one of those games in your memory bank. You go, do you remember the Wolves game? That was a great game, wasn't it? I don't think you're ever going to... Wolves game? Can I remember that? I wish I'd have watched the highlights, I mean, it wasn't one of the greatest games in the world. But the most important thing for me was the 3 points. But also, the biggest thing for me, David Raya. It's taken a year. When he's made a wonderful, wonderful save and a game-changing save. It was a save I felt that, I think like those saves are. I'm not saying it like
face. How you doing? It's a great save.
It was a great save at a very, very important time of the game. I think that's what you got to say. Coming up to half time, it could have been difficult for us at 1-1. I'm telling you, I felt that that Wolves, even though I didn't think they looked like they was going to score against us, I thought put in a really dogged performance that proves that the Premier League, there's no easy games. They've lost their best 2 players. I predicted a higher score. A little bit probably disrespectful when I look back at the performance. They were very, very what's the word I would look for? Like, not nasty, but like bitty. They was like, I like what they did yesterday. I know, like, you can't have teams come there and go, right, we're not as good as you, so I'm gonna go toe to toe with you. They have to look to do different ways, and one of their ways was to upset us a little bit and all that, and they did that. And I thought that they put in a good performance, but what it shows is we've got a little bit of class. I thought Saka was quiet in the game. I'm not saying it was his best game or his worst game, but I just felt that you could see he's not quite ready. But still, 2 moments of magic won us the game, and that's what it's all about. And delighted that my main man Kai has got on the scores. The main man, the top goal scorer in the Premier League is going to be this year. Good movement, his surroundings, everything were fantastic. He moved here, he moved there, but most importantly, when he moved, bang, in it went, 1-0, important goal. A good day at the office.
Top scorer in the Premier, you said, what, more than Haaland?
I think he's going to be out. I think he's going to be out there. Like, someone said to me, I said yesterday, and I don't know how you think about this. If Havertz is top scorer, does that mean Arsenal win the league? And I think it does.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I think it does. We all want a 20-goal a season striker, right? If one produces that in the current ranks, then I think that gets us over the line, because then I think still Saka gets his 15, Martinelli should get his 10 to 12, Trossard should get his 8 to 10.
Yeah,
I'm not so sure, probably, but my issue isn't so much the volume of goals Kai Havertz scores, it's the kind of goals he scores. So my issue, I don't really buy into that we need a 25-goal season striker. I think we score enough goals to do well. It's more those tight games where you need a finish. All of our one-on-one attackers aren't great. One-on-one Kai Havertz isn't great. One-on-one Jesus isn't great. One-on-one Trossard isn't great. Do you know what I mean? It's those kind of, it's more the type of goals rather than the amount of goals. So in probability is if he scores 20 plus goals, we will win the league. But it's not so much about, you can get tap-ins, which are important over the course of a season, but it's just more types of finishes that I don't think he has in his locker, which more concerns me more than can he get 20 goals in a league season.
Let's hope it's not finessing it with his right foot into the bottom corner, because that second half shot was a bit of a mare. But let's talk about the good stuff. To be honest, rather than start the pod with Havertz, I think we've got to start with our main man over the years, and one of the men that got a golden assist alongside Havertz. I think we start with the Starboy. We start with Saka. I'm with Lee. Probably wasn't a great 90-minute performance, but something we've come to know about Saka over the last 12 months in particular, since we've become this more rigid, structured side, is that he's very efficient. He doesn't need to be in the game for 20, 30, 40-minute periods. When he gets the ball, more often than not, he does something with it. And that's exactly what he done against Wolves. That cross into the box, beautiful. Me and James spoke about that back post cross quite a few times in pre-season. And we've started the season in that same vein. And when you got a unit like Havertz who can make those runs in, you struggle to find many defenders as tall as him to deal with that threat. So, if they can get that understanding, if they can get that connection, I look at Traore Jimenez connection. I look at Valencia Rooney connection. Those partnerships had a couple seasons together where they'd score an identical goal of 7-8 times a season, but people couldn't stop it. And I think Saka and Havertz can get that with the height that Havertz has, the delivery that Saka has, and then the finish with Saka. I'm not going to stop talking about his finish until the Villa game comes up, because the question marks over Saka, especially from opposition fans, is how's he going to get better? That's how he's going to get better, by changing it up. We've seen Saka bury it bottom corner, bend it round the defender many times in the last 18, 24 months. United sticks out as one against De Gea in the Euros for England. His goal was a replica of that. This time, he shapes up there, one step towards that side, and Saka changes it up, goes near post, lashes it in. And I haven't seen that finish from Saka many times over the last 2 years, but now defenders can see that it's going to become a bigger problem. They're not going to know. We've seen the Saka right foot finish at the near post, top of the net. But the more ways of finishing that Saka produces and gives the defender something to think about, the better he will become. Because this whole double up, triple up thing that people have been, teams have been applying against him. You start pulling these out of the, out of the bag, Saka, then, they're going to struggle. They're going to struggle even doubling you up. But Saka man of the match, do we all agree?
Yeah, I had a man of the match purely because of the two moments that were decisive. He actually did some other good stuff throughout the game, but those moments were like just executed perfectly. When that ball comes out to him on the right-hand side, you think he's got so much time. He's picked out that cross, he's picked out that run, and he's gone, I'm going to put it right there for Kai Havertz to attack, and he nails it. Sorry if you can hear a Hoover in the background, by the way, but you shouldn't be able to. But he just absolutely nailed it. Like, it was, Jose Sarr is, Wolves fans might go, oh, you're a no man's land, what are you doing? But it's such a good cross, I don't really think the goalkeeper could do anything about it. And Kai Havertz, it's a great header, and I'm really not trying to take anything from Kai Havertz. I've got so much praise for Kai on this podcast, we'll go into that. But a lot of the work is done by the cross. And then it's a case of get your head on it and just redirect it towards goal. So Saka, and then the finish, because it's so clever, because he goes near post knowing, and he does know, that the goalkeeper's a little bit blinded by the defender in front of him. Everyone's thinking I'm going to go that far corner, but let me go this way. And really, Sarr shouldn't really be beaten by where the ball's gone in the net, but you get why, because he can't bloody see it. And what I loved about Saka, and we were touching on this in his pre-season small appearances, and we talked about this with Erdogan and a few other players. I don't know. You can't, there's nothing tangible. I can't give you numbers or anything to explain what I'm trying to say here. But when I look at the Euros, the big equaliser for England against Switzerland, stepping up and taking his penalty, and now these moments already, he's just carrying himself like, I've been here before, I know I'm the guy, and I'm going to deliver. And that's different to Starboy Saka. Don't we love him? Oh, he's our guy. To now, like, no, I'm the main guy, and you should expect big things of me, and I'm going to do it. His celebration almost said it. He was just like, so what I do, and we should just get accustomed to this, because opening day, I thought it was a good performance by Arsenal, may I say. I really did. I think there was a lot to like about it, and he was just the one that made the, he had the moments. Him, Raya, and Havertz had the moments that secured the 3 points, and I'm very happy for him.
I like that celebration as well. A bit of cheek, because I think that's something that Saka can bring to his character as well. A bit of that rough edge, cheekiness, a bit of that. I know I'm good now, a bit of arrogance to it. And I know we spoke about arrogance in the summer, Bellingham, and all of that stuff. And there's a balance to it all. But we also said at that time Saka could do with a bit more of that. And I think that celebration sets the tone for the season. And to be honest, a goal, assist, a man of the match, perfect start for Saka. Jordan, you're nodding.
Yeah, I agree. We did discuss that in the summer about whether he needs to kind of become not the kind of, as James described it, oh, Saka's cute, nice guy, young, let's get behind him, to the, no, Starboy. I'm the guy. But I'm the guy now. And we kind of talked about whether that was his character. And I think that can be his character. And I think it's a fine line, right? You don't want to be arrogant, but not to back it up with. But I always find it a little bit concerning when everybody universally likes your players. Like, everyone likes Saka, which is great on one side, but also I kind of want the guy that everyone doesn't like because he's so good. So I think he needs to develop a little bit of a kind of bastard side to his character on the field. I do, Lee. I think that sort of celebration, that swaggy, like as James said, this is what I do. That wasn't Saka 2 years ago. Saka just would bow his head and, do you know what I mean? Be the humble guy. It's like, no. And I spoke about Odegaard last week, that I'm putting a lot of pressure on him to be the guy this year. But, Saka can equally kind of take that mantle as well as the best player in the league. So it was good to see from him. I agree with Turkish. I think that variation of finish is really key. We've seen Saka score maybe 10 of those goals where it goes back post and it goes into the far corner even. And we know he can do that. But he's now showing, no, I can do it near post too. And goalkeepers and even defenders have to now really be on their guard as to what they think he's going to do. Is he going to chop? Is he going to keep running down the line? Is he going to go near post? All those things add weapons to Saka's game. Again, I'm just agreeing with all you guys. He wasn't great over 90 minutes, but if he can be the moments guy that when it matters, I'll take that for now. It does reiterate my point again last week. We need cover for him, because if Saka's out for any long period of time, we are in trouble. I'm not throwing any shade to Reece Nelson, but there is nothing behind Saka. He's the only player in the team, where there's nothing behind him. And if he's out for 2, 3, 4 months, we are in trouble. we are in big trouble, man. Never
Well,
mind tiredness.
I do think the game was evidence in general that maybe another killer of a forward. I haven't even put a thumbs up. I need to disable this thing somehow.
Just embrace
I
it,
think
James.
I think
Embrace it.
I know. Hit the like button, people. There we go. And now it won't pop up, obviously. It will. The game, some of the moments we had where we did win possession back and we were running in behind, some of the areas Martinelli got into, there were moments where I thought, like a prime Mane kills the team in this situation. Now, prime Mane is very difficult to find. I'm aware of that. But I think the game, and that's probably my only negative, was just there was evidence of like that opening should have become a chance or a good chance, or that, that moment there should have really been a good save or a goal by Jose Sa, and it was neither. It was a blocked shot. It was a corner, or there was just moments like that where I think. But again, the first day of the season, so you expect the rustiness, but also think you can see where like a devastating winger on the other side might have hurt them. I love
agree,
Martinelli.
and I think as well, just quick briefly as well, I'm really keen to see what team Pep Guardiola picks today. It's one of the things that Guardiola is really good at, is especially after a major tournament summer, is not starting his best players in the first few games of the season, because he understands he demands a lot from his players physically and mentally, but it's a long season, and I think that seeing Rice and the amount of games that Rice and Saka have played in particular in this last 18 months, 2 years, more so Saka, because he's had no cover, whereas at least Rice last year, he was in and out a little bit at West Ham. He did have weeks off. Just seeing how Arteta manages these first 10 games as of personnel-wise, squad-wise, for me is really, really key. On the game generally as well, really happy. Lee's right. It won't be remembered in 2 months, let alone 2 years' time. Got my clean sheet. Happy about that. I've got a new target for clean sheets, by the way, as well. 2-0. I wouldn't say it was a routine win, because there were moments in the game where Wolves look like they might try a ting, but that's kind of as close to as a routine home game of the season to start as you want.
But do you think that's anxiety fueled? Because I have to be honest, right? I watching the game, I had a moment where I was like, "Oh, we need this second," and then I just had to stop myself and go, "Do we?" As in, I feel like I need it to relax. But Wolves didn't do anything. Like the first half, there were a few moments, and I actually felt it was a little bit too basketball-y for me. The first half, there was a little bit too much up and down. And actually, I want to talk about Partey later as well. But that it was a little bit too open at times. And Gabriel, I don't think had a great game, if I'm honest. Saliba gave the ball away in sloppy areas. But when I really think about it, Raya, who made a phenomenal save, everything else, we gave the ball away. Cunha sort of, left foot sort of rolled it towards Raya. But generally, I didn't think they asked too many questions. I thought we were in a good shape. And I thought we did really well just to recognize, okay, we're not yet at that stage where we're in total control, keeping teams pinned in, killing them with 1,000 passes. So we maintained a good shape. The work ethic was unbelievable. And there was one moment in the game that I really think summed it up, was we won the ball back in the second half. I don't know if you remember, and Saka sprinted up the pitch, and Havertz needed to just play it over. He didn't. He tried a nutmeg and he lost it. Now, okay, he got it wrong. Fine. But the first thing he did was sprint over to cover where Saka was. And we were immediately back in 2 banks of 4.
Yes.
And some people might go, "Oh, there's a counter-attack. We got it wrong." Okay, you got it wrong in that moment, Kai. But the work ethic throughout the team is unbelievable. The concentration levels, the amount of times Partey covered for Rice on the press and Rice came over, and then we were just in a double pivot, but with Rice over on the right of central midfield. To some people, it's like, who cares? But these are the little things that they're constantly covering one another and constantly filling in each other's positions. And just ensuring that ultimately, no matter what, we don't concede a shape and we don't concede space. Wolves can play through us. It was the cross into the box or errors that actually allowed for some of their moments. So, on the ball, of course, there are levels to go, and chance creation, there are levels to go. But I actually felt that in terms of sharpness in possession and defensive shape and solidity, we were really top, and that was great to see. The concentration levels you can't fault with this Arsenal team.
That's a good point. We were saying that yesterday, how good the shape was all the time, and I think that starts from the front. Also, you have to say, the substitutions coming on, Jesus worked his socks off getting back into shape. They're not looking and going, oh, we're 2-0 up here now. It's my time for glory. The team comes first, which is what I like. It was interesting going about Saka when he come off, that it weren't Nelson that come on. It was that Martinelli went over there and Trossard come on. So I think maybe that they're looking to do that more than maybe play Nelson, if I'll be really honest. So I don't really know what the future is for him. Like, I know where we're going about. So I thought Havertz was man of the match yesterday. I thought he was, give the central defenders a real tough time. I like that about him. You know what I mean? He really, knows that central defender didn't have an easy game yesterday, and I like that about Havertz. Whether it's be the ball in the air, a duel or whatever, it's got that little bit of nastiness. And I will say, he also got an assist and a goal. People forget about that, which is pass to Saka. It's 5-yard pass to Saka, which does go down as an assist nowadays. Like, you know what I mean? So they both got one each, like, But I do think, I don't know, but I was never, when you're at games and you think, oh, we need that second goal. I was comfortable all day. I felt that we was always in control of that game, and I like that. There's a control about Arsenal now. And, I'm sure that they go to Villa next week and have spells where we'll have control of the game as well. But I do think that, when you say that we weren't quite as good up front and decision, I think that's because we're not quite sharp enough yet. I do think that there was that there. And just what Jordan says, that's a fantastic point what he says about Jill. Could have we played that game without Saka and Rice? Just give them that extra. Because I look at Declan Rice, I'm going to say that's the quietest game I've ever seen him play. I didn't even know he was playing at times, and you can never say that about him. And he's got cramp, so he's obviously working hard. We know in defensive sides of it all, and it showed to me yesterday that he wasn't quite ready at where he should be in levels of fitness and all that. But that will come as we know. But are we in a position where we can leave someone like Saka out for that game? Because obviously, look what he done. You know what I mean? If he doesn't play that game, maybe we don't. I don't know, but that's where we are. Isn't it?
Yeah, it was defined by moments.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I agree with the panel's assessment that it was domination and it didn't feel like Wolves were gonna get one. And but listen, Wolves created a couple opportunities, especially just before Saka's goal, where they were getting into the box a bit more. I think 2-3 times in that 5-minute period before Saka's goal was 2-3 times more than the majority of that game. So they was creeping into it. So I did feel like we need something else, but I also felt like Arteta was kind of sending a statement by not making the subs early, by not changing it up, because it just felt like to me we needed something. And he was very hesitant to do it. And maybe that was a message above to say, listen, I've got the same players that I've had last season. And even with Martinelli going to the right, Trossard coming on, it's essentially a tight-knit group of 4 he trusts for those 3 positions. And once you get an injury to one of them, let's not just talk about Saka, it could be any one of the 3. That's when you become very light all of a sudden, because you don't have that 4th member that you trust. It's going to be a Reece, it's going to be an Eddie, it's, Fabio Vieira. These men have been on the fringes and haven't really earned that trust from Mikel yet. So as much as, I mean, we definitely couldn't play that game without Saka yesterday when you see how important he was at the end. But I also think Arteta, 2 weeks to go, he's pushing them a little bit. He must be pushing them a little bit, because listen, control and domination, like I said, I agree, we did. But couldn't we say the same, literally the same match assessment we've just done for Wolves? We can say the same for maybe 29 games last year, 30 games last year, but it was always the cutting edge in attack. Now we can put it down to sharpness this time round because it's the first game of the season. But really, if we talk about personnel as well, aside from first game, 8th game, 30th game, there's still a doubt about their sharpness in front of goal anyway.
But that's why I said, was there no more evidence that actually like another devastating winger would have... And do you know why I'm not saying a striker? Because Havertz did his job yesterday. Like, I don't think yesterday was evidence of we need a striker. That I'm not saying that debate's done. I'm just saying like Kai absolutely filled the shoes. But and people are going, wait, so Saka did well, Kai did his job, so I'm having a pop of Martinelli. Martinelli's got that in him, because whether he delivers that or not, he still needs help. He can't be then the only one. And we know that he's got that when he's at his best. 2 years ago is evidence of it, 15 non-penalty Premier League goals. So I just think, it was more evidence that maybe, we can still be more clinical, more dangerous, more devastating, that we can punish teams when space opens up. But yeah, that was kind of my only real, drawback in what was otherwise pretty much exactly what I expected and hoped for on the opening day. Obviously, you'd love a 3-4-5-0 win statement. I don't think that was ever going to come. And also, Wolves are very changed from last season. Certainly a few players that I didn't recognise from last. They're one of the most changed teams. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I looked at all the Premier League starting 11s. Someone made a great point on Twitter. They were saying this season feels like 23-24.2. Because teams haven't been as busy in the market and everything, a lot of teams look quite similar. And Wolves are one of the few that actually had quite a few changes and looked quite a different outfit compared to last season. And yeah, I don't know why I made that point now. I've sort of lost my train of thought. But yeah, I thought we were comfortable, really. It's about what I expected.
Do you know, just a couple of things of it. I thought it was a little bit similar. Like Wolves were a little bit similar to Fulham in the approach and everything like that. But me and Turkish talked about, I wasn't impressed with Man United at all. I thought that they was a little bit fortunate. But with us, I felt that it was the same sort of game. But you could see that there was good things in our game. It wasn't like hope. I thought there was a little bit of desperation, not desperation, but hope that Man United would score, and it come late, but they did. But I always felt that with us, there was patterns of play, there was certain things going on, and I always felt that we was going to get the job done.
It's interesting because United created more chances in their game, you could argue. They created more kind of noteworthy. They come off the pitch going, we should have scored 3 or 4. They probably should have conceded 2 or 3-2. But I think we come off the pitch saying 2's about right. By the way, I thought we played better than them, overall. But, that's definitely part of it.
No, I get that. Because that's ultimately what it comes down to. We're sitting off the back of a 2-0 win. We're at 1-0. We secured the game. It could be a very different conversation, because some of the doubts we're having, if it goes 1-1 and we're not creating clear-cut opportunities, we can have all the patterns in the play in the world. If we're not getting it in the box into good areas with the players we have, because it's not like one of our players is going to pick out the top corner from 30 yards often, is it? So it needs to be quite a calculated move to get into the 6-yard, 18-yard area to get a clear sight. That's what our football is about, perfection, essentially. So you can see the goal and you're not doing what you should be doing in that final third. It becomes a very frustrating day and potentially ends 1-1 with a whole heap of domination, ball control, possession, patterns of play. But the reality is, again, I've just seen signs that in that final third, and I want to go back to what James said, because people see me as pessimist, negative, all of this, back your players and all of this. Now, what James said is bang on. And by that, I mean, if I look at 2024 calendar year, the upgrade of this Arsenal attack needs to come on the left-hand side. And this was a player that I said was 2 years ago. I think he was, the top player of that season. But things can change over time. When you add different pieces, another piece might not be as effective as it was with someone else in that other piece that's been replaced, and so on. This is what this system-based football is about. So if I'm looking at 2024 calendar year, Saka, Havertz, they've been doing their thing. It's Martinelli that needs to step it up. And again, in this game, it's similar story there. So it's a massive season for Martinelli to step it up, because, James, you're right. If I'm looking at an upgrade in the attack, it probably would be, considering the names on the market as well and the options in that position, it probably would lean more towards that than anything. But this goes back to the whole, this is on a personal level. When people say, back your players, you're always, I backed Martinelli, but sometimes things change, Am I going to continue backing him blindly when he does need to improve? I love him, but he needs to improve. And this season, he must, because we're talking about Premier League titles now. So we can't have anyone kind of slacking.
Do you know what? It's a great point you make, because I didn't think, I love Martinelli. We all love Martinelli, but I didn't think he was great yesterday, But when he does something wrong, there's a lot of a lot of support for him and everything like that. Zinchenko done one thing wrong yesterday, and the people are on his back. You know what I mean? I couldn't believe it. I thought he played well yesterday.
He did, he's got to
to go. Got to drop him. You know what I mean? and things like that. And I'm thinking, well, hold on a minute, he played well. But then if you do have a little, we were saying like in the Invincible, like we were saying, like it's a make or break for Martinelli. Not in a back. Oh, get off his back and all that. Like there's a lot of you're being negative towards him. It's not being negative towards him. We all want Martinelli to succeed, and I think that what we need Martinelli to do. I think if Martinelli hits the heights we know he can do, that puts us in a different ball game. And that's what I think what we're saying. It's not being critical when we're saying that, like, but people just see it as a critical thing. Oh, you're being critical. It's not. It's just wanting us to be that. It could be the uplift that we need. If Martinelli gets back to where he can do, that's the gap. Yeah. That could be the gap. That's what we're saying. It's not being negative, is it?
And it will also help Saka as well. If Martinelli can step up his game like he did 2 years ago, I think it just means that teams have to know that on both wings they've got a problem. Martinelli needs to really step it up right now because my thoughts on Martinelli. I said at the start of the summer, I'd have looked to have brought in someone not to replace him, but to, at the bare minimum, compete with him. I'm not convinced by Martinelli like everybody else is. But the one thing he has got, which we don't have in this team, is pace.
Yeah.
He's the only player in this team with genuine pace. It's the one thing I'm concerned about. If you want to go back to front over the top in one pass, he's the only player really that has that threat in behind. He needs to find a way of utilizing that, because if he's not utilizing his pace right now, he might be getting a Granit Xhaka type season from me where I don't name his name because last year, I'm telling you, last year he was not good. He wasn't good last year and he was injured and all that, fair enough. But right now, in a Premier League winning team, should he be in the 11?
No. Yeah. And you're right. The pace he has to utilize more. But as you said it, I thought about what's he lacking, because he doesn't utilize his pace like we've seen great wingers utilize their pace in the past. He's got to do a lot of work defensively as well to cover for that. The inverting, he's got to come in quite a lot. So then to peel off the back line as well. His job is probably the most damning of the lot. But that's no excuse, because at the end of the day, either Arteta has to fix that or Martinelli has to find a way to still be able to be as effective in the attack as he was in 22-23 and bring that defensive stability to the left-hand side. Now, Calafiori might bring that. Calafiori, Mourinho and Martinelli might be our left-hand side in November, and we're talking a very different game about Martinelli. And that's the hope. That's the hope that our screams and cries for an attacker this summer are nullified by the fact Arteta brings in a progressive defender, a cute midfielder in terms of on the ball, and that brings out the best of Martinelli, and that's our new attacker, let's say. So I'm holding my horses on the assessment of him, but I'm with Jordan, and this is a big season now. He's 23 years old. Someone mentioned Mane not too long ago on this show. I think Mane signed that as well. I think Mane signed for Liverpool around 23 years of age too, 24 maybe, but he already came off the back of a couple double-digit seasons at Southampton, hit the ground running at Liverpool and got double-digit goals every single season for Liverpool. Again, off the top of my head, maybe one he didn't, but I'm pretty sure. So I'm looking at that and looking at Martinelli and thinking that is the step up now. Go back to double-digit goals, the effectiveness, the use the pace. And because I think Mane balanced his offensive productivity and threat
100%.
So good with his defensive effort as well.
100%.
So good. Like one of the best balanced, efforts I've seen from a winger.
But I will say this with him, like Salah got all the glory because like he wasn't the one that was working as hard as much as Mane. And I think that's the same with Martinelli. Martinelli is putting in more work defensively than Saka. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying Saka's lazy. He's not. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know if I agree with that, but yeah, carry on.
But
I think I do actually.
What do you mean?
I don't think Martinelli puts in way more than Saka defensively.
No, it covers a lot more ground. Like what I'm saying is, like Ben White don't go away from his position. Ben White stays in that right back position. There's times when Martinelli has to make 30, 40 yard runs back to cover and all that. Like it's just the way it is. It's not he's being that Saka. Yeah. It's just the system that he plays, and sometimes maybe he hasn't got that energy in that final third. Like it was like back in the day when I played, I used to say, you don't go, centre forward, don't come back over the halfway line, because you need your energy when you're in that last third to just maybe that is saying so. We're looking for excuses a little bit with him, like, you know what I mean? They play a different. If you was to say to Martinelli, just play up top all the time, maybe it'd be a little bit more different, like, you know what I mean? But he has a specific role to play in the football team. It's a role when everybody, as we said earlier on, it's a shape-based role. You have to get into shape and do things like that, like, you know. There's no passengers. There's no passengers.
But the thing that's also interesting about Martinelli is that we could talk about defensively, he's efficient. Offensively, he's not even getting on the ball much. Like, forget him. He's not like he's missing chances or he's missing crosses. He's not even getting. He's not getting on the ball a lot. Sorry.
He's not getting chances.
It's like he needs to either demand the ball more, or people just aren't giving the ball enough. So I just want to see him on the ball, running at play. That's what he does best, running at people. And Turkish just said earlier on, it's a pivotal season for Martinelli. I think it's a pivotal month for him, because let's be honest, if this time next month he's still playing like this, he can't be in the 11 for me. He can't be. And a good performance against Man City in a couple of weeks' time, for me, doesn't cut it. I need to see Martinelli week in, week out against everybody delivering. So for me, I don't even give him a season. I'm giving him a month. This time next month, if he's not stepping it up, serious, James, bring in Trossard. Bring in Trossard. I'm sorry, because it's not. You had a year off. We kind of gave you a pass. I'm not seeing anything in preseason or even yesterday to suggest that he's back. They ain't got time to wait.
I think he'll get there. I want to just go on up to Kai Havertz and just talk about why I loved his performance yesterday. Because there was, again, it's like I was talking about Saka and sort of filling out the shirt more and becoming that guy. It's not, I don't know how to quantify it. I don't really know what evidence I've got for it. But with Kai Havertz, there was like a confidence to his play. Not everything came off, but I loved the word we used so often last season was conviction. Like, I don't care what you're trying to do, just like commit to it. This season we're one game in. There was one moment where, you know, when Ødegaard did the drag back in the first half and Havertz is through. Beautiful. I mean, unbelievable. And by the way, Ødegaard isn't maybe going to get talked about on this show, but I thought he was magnificent as well. Havertz, he's one-on-one with the defender and he just says, I'm going to go round you. He actually does it. He actually gets round it, but then he kind of gets the ball stuck under his feet. But like, it was good to see him go, I'm going to take you on. And people are going, great, James. So your bit of evidence is something he got wrong. But there was a conviction, whether it be via his passes. You know, he was a nuisance for centre-backs. They couldn't deal with him. He was winning fouls all the time. His work rate was phenomenal. The link-up was good. The header is great. Yeah, it's an assist in the records. It's ultimately just a pass out to Saka, but dropping in between the lines, picking up the ball, keeping things moving. He does everything, and his work rate is phenomenal. Like, when you what I enjoyed about yesterday, I was watching with my family, and I was really, because the press has been one of the things we've done really well in pre-season. Oh, sorry, I'm dropping things. The press was something we did really well in pre-season. I was watching him, and like, he doesn't sprint with the same intensity to every player. There's a shuffle, there's a movement, there's a kind of, what do they call it, jockeying, you know, shuffle, and then it goes to a certain player, and suddenly there's a sprint. Well, there's a bad touch. They'll recognize a heavy touch, and they're straight on him. And it's just like they're constantly focused, all the players. And Kai, you know, with Ødegaard leading the line, did that really, really well. And I thought his performance generally was really, really good all round, from link up to the goal to everything. So, yeah, could have done better with the right-footed effort, but honestly, Kai Havertz last season, he looks for a pass. He turns inside, he gets his back to goal, and he's looking for just a pass to roll it to someone. He said, I'm going to hit this. He got it wildly wrong, but I don't care. That's fine. Keep shooting, my friend. So I wanted to shout him out, and you guys might want to come in as well on that. Actually, you know what? Does anyone want to say anything on Havertz? Because I want to talk about Raya and Partey after.
I love him. I'm going to say it now. I love him. I love the way he plays. You know, the altercations with the other players and all that. Like, he provokes that a little bit. Come on, like, he bashes into him. Like, you know, he's got that. What Turkish said about Saka, he has got that nasty. I can't. He's got a nasty streak to him. Like, you know what I mean? And I thought he was a handful yesterday. I thought he made their defenders. Do you know when people turn around? I think we say, oh well, they've got strikers that the defenders are not going to worry about. Like, you know, I think defenders now start thinking, oh, I don't know if I'm fancy playing against him, because he can do me with a bit of skill. He's got that little nastiness to him, like, you know. And I think that's why it was so important for me that he scored yesterday. And he's got to now go to Villa and nick a goal there. And all of a sudden, people will be sort of thinking that this is the guy. And I know that little twat up there's laughing about it.
I'm not laughing.
Yeah, right. But at the end of this season, we'll all come back and go, listen, Kai Havertz is the main man, like, you know what I mean? And I'm backing him. I'm backing him.
Who was he talking about? You, Jordan, yeah? Because I was holding it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not you today. You know, you're my main man, sir. You know what I mean? That little rubs of a man up there.
I didn't say anything.
It's only giving Martinelli a month. Yeah, dear, oh, dear. Oh.
Well, you know what?
Sorry, Lee, I agree with you. I think Havertz is proving a problem for people. I don't think he's comfortable to play against. He wins fouls off you. He's annoying.
Maybe if you only see the highlights, you don't see the whole game.
Shut up. No, I agree that he's definitely a handful, but you were kind of straying into the territory of, Van Dijk and Diaz the night before they play Arsenal are sweating because they've got to face Kai Havertz. I don't think we're quite in that territory yet. But no, I agree. He's a handful. He is a handful.
Yeah, he is a handful, 100%. But again, I think, you know, in the good old words of Roy Keane, that's your job. You know, I mean, being a handful when you're that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
When you're that high, I mean, Adama Traore is a handful. It doesn't mean that you're gonna want him in a title, you know, challenging side and so on. We need to see more, but we are seeing more. Like I said, 2024 from Kai Havertz, as well as being a handful, we're seeing him pick up good spaces in the box. Dare I say? But actually receiving the ball in these spaces. I'm not hearing at the end of 90 minutes he was in this space, but he didn't receive the ball. But it opened up the space for Tom, Dick, and Harry to get into the box. He's doing what he needs to be doing up top. He's not a striker, but he's doing the job well enough and better than the people that we currently have. And that's all I can ask for. And the handful stuff, Lee, you know I love that. I mean, the Mosquera battle between them two, I love that. You know, I mean, I feel like Mosquera should have got at least a yellow card for that you know, the hand round.
Yeah. I think it's a red.
Yeah, I think he could have been a red for sure, but it should have at least been a yellow. But I like that Havertz was, you know, having words with him every once in a while. You could see them looking at each other. Yeah. I like that. Point. I like that. You can get under their skin. You can get into their heads. And listen, it might work against you, but it might work for you. And that's the key.
Just a quick note.
Sorry, go on. No, go on, John.
Just because I know we've got to move on, but just a quick note, because you mentioned it, James, Partey. Just to show to our viewers and listeners who think I've got a Martinelli agenda, I think Thomas Partey is in the same bracket, and he's one of my favourites, one of the top 3 Thomas Partey players at the team. I think he's in the same bracket. I think he's got a month. I don't think in pre-season he's looked particularly convincing. I don't think he looked sharp yesterday. I think Thomas Partey, when he is fit and on form, I would go as far as to say only Rodri's better in the league. I genuinely think Thomas Partey has everything in his locker. I think he's a top midfielder, but we've not seen it for quite a while now. And even as someone like me, who is a huge Thomas Partey fan, there's a sloppiness, there's a lethargism, that's even a word, to his game that I just don't think. I'm just not feeling it right now, and I just think he needs to up that level quickly as well. Otherwise, I think he might find himself on the bench too. And as much as I love him, I love Thomas Partey. Right now, he's not doing it for me. And it's early, but standards and margins right about now with him, they're not there.
Long term, he'll be on the bench. Rice will be the 6, and Marine will be the 8. I think. I think that's the long term shape of our midfield. But do you know, watching Partey yesterday, he did a lot of things that were frustrating. You know, like he took a touch in the second half, and I was thinking they're going to be on you. They're going to be on you. Stopped it, and he can dally a little bit. He can sometimes get himself caught. But I will say that there were moments of sustained possession. There were moments where Wolves just couldn't touch the ball, mainly in the first half. And Partey's at the heart of it all. You know, he's dropping in, he's receiving off the centre-backs, he's finding the midfielders, he's then coming to receive again. And he's just like the nucleus. Like everything was just popping off him, popping through him. And when he's doing that, like he can, probably better than Jorginho, he can sort of settle us. But he can also be... There's something I think teams feel they can press him, which is actually quite press resistant at his best. He will turn a base. He's got the strength and tech to turn a player. And his
But
first touch.
I've not seen it for a while. Sorry to cut you. I think that injury might have that burst.
Yeah.
I've not seen from him. That
I
kind of like
agree with you.
stepping in. I'm worried that injury he might have lost that now. Do you know what I mean? I'm really
totally
worried about that.
And
I
also,
think though,
you're gone,
Jay, I think though that's part of his thing. When they think they can press him, right? That's when they go, and then we get him. That's when he does his thing, and then we get in behind them through that. It's I think it's a ploy, not a ploy, but that's what one of his weaknesses is, his strength. And I think yesterday, I do agree that he wasn't at his best, but I think the sloppiness that come into his play when he's tired. You know what I mean? He's not
he
quite.
played all right. I thought he played well.
I thought he'd done all right. I just felt that it was a sloppy couple of passes towards the end because he got tired. But I thought first half, I think he was pivotal to the way we played.
And my final big ups to David Raya, because I said I did a show and we were talking about like what are the 5 things Arsenal can do like in-house tactically to win the league. And one of the points I was mentioned was David Raya. And I sort of think when you look at last season and how far we went, and people take this so negatively, but it's not meant to be that negative. But how many points would you say Raya won us those points?
Last season?
Not many.
But it is, we are looking at 0 to 2 or 3. Really? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what we're talking about at best. And I can't even recall any of those. Someone said to me, oh, Burnley at home last season. And I'm thinking we won that 3-1. I can't remember. Maybe there was a big save in there, but when I looked at that moment,
1-0 up, I think.
Yeah,
was it Burnley? He made a save. Yeah, it might have been.
I think so. Yeah,
few and far between.
Right. Again, ultimately we scored 3 goals, and that must have been quite early in the game because they equalised on 60. We were back in front by 68 or whatever it was. Like my thing is that when I look at the game yesterday, for all I've been actually very positive about the performance, said Wolves didn't do too much. They did have a couple moments, especially that cross into the box, headed by Strand Larsen. And he's going the other way and he reached the hand out. Now, I feel like Jordan's going to come in with a slightly different take on how good that save was. But I saw it in real time. And I know it's a split second. I'm thinking this is in the back of the net. And he's reached out. And at a period where Arsenal was sort of just happy on their 1-0 lead, he just kept it at 1-0. And sure, we went into half-time 1-0. And it was just a big moment. And if he has even just like, 4 or 5 of those across the season, games where we come out and we go, yeah, we did win, but you know what? A 0-0 or a 1-0, it could have been a very different game. And Raya's the reason it's not. That's going to be big. And I'm really happy for him because distribution was, commanding his area and doing the things he's got to do outside of shot stopping. He does almost like masterfully, especially in 2024. But that big save was massive. And I hope we see more of those because he's got that in him, and it was really great, and I'm really happy for him.
Best game for Arsenal.
It was certainly up there. Porto as well in the Champions League, but
but mainly for his penalty saves and everything like that. But for 90 minutes, that was his best game. And if he'd have played that game last season, early doors, like when he came in, everybody wouldn't have had would have been going on about it, James.
Well, what's funny is he made the save against Tottenham. Do you remember in the North London derby when I think it was Son or someone really should have buried it? No, it was Brennan Johnson, I think. But because we drew 2-2, no one kind of sees it as well. He saved us in that moment because it was drop points anyway.
I'm with you on that. I thought he was brilliant yesterday. I thought he was outstanding.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a journalist, so you know me. Like semantics are really important. You've used words like great and phenomenal for that save. My take on the save is it's within his wingspan. So if a great save for me is a save you shouldn't make. A great save is a save where it's like, how the hell did he get to that? The ball is in his wingspan, so it's within the arm. It's not like he's had to really stretch to keep it out. Look at the goal again. It's not in the corner. It's within his wingspan.
Look at the pace.
He's moving away from goal. It's headed away.
He is, but it's still within his.
Stuck an arm out super quickly and made it.
What's it? What is this doing to impress you? Like,
no, it's a good save.
You have to play central midfield as well. Like, you know what I mean? Come on.
Did you see the Tete block?
Shut up.
Did you see the Tete block for Fulham against Man United? You know when it was cut back to Rashford and he stuck a leg out?
Yes.
That's
a phenomenal tackle.
Yeah.
No. I don't think it is. I think that's to really contort himself to make sure his toenail keeps that out off the line. That's a phenomenal goal line prevention there. It's a good save. I'm not saying it's Ramsdale against Leicester 2 years ago, the free kick at Filbert Street or whatever they call their place now. That's a phenomenal save because that's going in. That is going in.
But do you know where, like, do you know where the balance to this comes is? You mentioned Ramsdale. We can mention 15 to 20 Ramsdale saves that are on par, if not better, with that. But the reason this is special for Raya is because we know Raya's better with his feet. We know we play better with him playing at the back. The doubt has been, can he save us points? Can he make a save at 1-0, 1-0 up? Can he make a save at 0-0? And this is pretty much his first one. Whereas Ramsdale used to do that quite a bit, but let us down on his feet or concentration. I guess our hope is that Raya builds off this save now, starts winning us more points in the season, and that whole issue is done and dusted. For me, it was a great save, not because it was outside his vicinity, but because he had to, like, what do you call it? It's not flexibility. It's, when you're going one way and then you've got to quickly, like,
it's a great header, by the way. I think it was a great save.
I think it's a great save. He's moving, moving away.
Okay,
and he just
Jordan, if Sarr saved Saka's one, would you have said that's a great save? Because it was in his vicinity, but it's just that Saka tricked him by making it seem like he's going there, and
but the Saka one, but the power, Saka's one, the power beats him. So even if you struggle to save that, even if you knew it was going in that corner, the power is beating him. So that's hard to save that one.
I don't think many goalkeepers say that Raya won.
It was more guile than power. But
I think most top keepers save that. Most top keepers,
and that's what we want.
Right. So if you're a top goalkeeper, that should be bread and butter, and maybe a bit extreme. All right, that's maybe a little bit of a stretch. But if you're a top goalkeeper,
I'll do that in my sleep.
If you're a top goalkeeper and that goes in, I'm looking at you sideways.
Listen, I'm pleased that he's made that sort of save because
I'm pleased.
He hasn't made that sort of save. Every time they've had a shot, people have gone, "Oh, it was a good goal." You know what I mean? Like, and I'm thinking that. He couldn't do much about it. Well, he done much about this one, and I'm pleased for him. He needed that, and I think I needed that as well as from him. Like, I mean, I do. I've had. People go, "Oh, he's a better goalkeeper," and I go, "Yeah, what? With his feet and all that, he's not a great shot stopper." I see yesterday a great save, and also like at a time when we needed it. So I'm great save.
Considering the time, 52 minutes in, and we've strictly spoken about the Wolves' performance and the Wolves' result, obviously. As we do, people, more a review show than anything, but we still got some predictions to make for the Aston Villa game coming up, and brief thoughts if that, there's still a hell of a lot of days in between now and that game. So, transfer window might throw up a curveball. Even if we did sign a player, I doubt that has an effect on our starting 11 against Aston Villa. Yeah. But we've just seen Aston Villa beat West Ham 2-1 away from home. Good win, good game. Good. I think West Ham draw was probably the fairest result of the lot, but if anyone was to edge it, probably Villa deserved it. So they've started the season well, and that's who we've got next. 5:30 kickoff on Saturday. Before we get into that, let's bring up the prediction table because he's 1-in-1, people. He's 1-in-1.
We'll take it. Look at that. I've got a star, 3 points on the board. You miss me, Lee.
I was absolutely gutted. It was so bad. I wanted Wolves to score yesterday. That's how bad it was. You know what
I mean? James, you've done it. I don't know how it stayed at 2-0. Well, to be honest.
No, I think it's a great call. Great shout.
Yeah. Great.
It was a 2-0 game, wasn't it? What are we doing? Just predicting or a quick line on the game, or what would you like?
It's difficult. I mean, a line on the game would be good, but with 5 days to spare, I mean, I guess we can talk about how important it is to turn around the 0-6 we got last season.
Well, there's going to be plenty of content on AFTV previewing it. So all I'll say on this is I thought the turning to Timber at left back was really interesting. A, because he looked bloody good. B, because of the injury problems he's had. This thumbs up, man. Go away. B, because of the injury he had, right? I mean, not just the long-term one, but the fact that obviously he hasn't played the last few games of preseason. So Calafiori felt like the obvious choice, especially at left back. We've got this game against Villa coming up. And if you don't want to lose what Zinchenko does so well, Timber feels like the most natural fit. Of course, Calafiori is left-footed, but we're yet to see how much he still has that. Timber did things yesterday that I thought, you're not a centre back, you're a right winger. You might be the answer to the forward line that we need. Just give him the number 10. Like some of the things he did were phenomenal. And I think as the season goes on, we're going to stop and think, yeah, we knew he was a big miss last season, but we didn't really know. And throughout this season, we're going to go, man, I can't believe we didn't have him the whole of last campaign. So I'm really excited to see more of him. He did give the ball away once that led to a corner, but otherwise I really like what we saw from him. Could he start a left back, especially Leon Bailey being a left footer, big threat for Villa? Is that the answer at left back? I don't know. And is there a reason why he gave Timber those particular minutes over a Calafiori? So we'll see about that. But yeah, I think we're going to go there and win. I don't know why I'm so delusional to think that, because our record against Emery isn't amazing. I just think for where we are in the season, it's come at a great time. Neither team is in full flow. We're away from home. I think we've got the things away from home we need, the good structure, the concentration. And I think Martinelli will have a little bit of joy against their high line. I think Havertz is feeling himself right now. Partey, Rice fit, and you've got such a plethora of options in the back four. I'd be really disappointed if we lost this game. Villa are a good side. Of course we could. Of course we could. We did last season. They beat us twice last season. Of course we could. And I respect Emery and Villa massively. But I'd be really disappointed because I think for where we are, we should be okay. They're still getting accustomed to life without Douglas Luiz. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to the Arsenal. I think we're going to nick it, personally.
1-0. Jordan. Unusual to say your name second, but yeah.
All right. There's no need for that.
I'm buying you a spade for Christmas. You're always giving.
Briefly on Villa, I'm concerned. There's not many games. There's not many games this season I will go into saying that, but this is one of the few I'm concerned. Villa are a good team. I really rate, Emery as a manager. I was going to go for a draw. I think this feels like a draw away at Villa, but I'm going to go for a win because I think Arsenal need to try and push out their chest and these sorts of games find a way to turn what probably should be a draw into a win. So, and I think there needs to be a confidence and almost an arrogance that despite us respecting your home record, how good you are, we are going to find a way to win this football match. So I'm going to go for it again and nicking it. I'm going to go 2-1. But I am concerned about this match.
James 1-0, Jordan 2-1. Lee?
Yeah, I was going on the lines of 1-0 to 2-1. But because you've gone there, I'm going to go 2-0. I'm going to be a little bit more braver and go 2-0. I think this is a game that Arsenal got to win. I know sounds silly. After last season, you got to come back and put these in their place. And I don't want this, like Emery's so much better than Arteta, he don't beat him and all that. I want Arsenal to go up there, flex their muscles, and I'll be very, very disappointed if we don't win this game. And that's nothing against Villa because I think Villa are a fantastic team, but I think we've got to go there and do them.
That's the phrase, Lee, flex our muscles. That's the phrase I'm looking for. We've got to go there and say, we know you're good, but we're going for a league. We're going for a league here. So just give us the 3 points, lie down, take it, and let's move on and get the hell out of here. We've got to really go in there with that sort of vibe.
And I expect Arsenal to do that. I'll be very disappointed if they don't.
1-0, 2-1. Lee's gone 2-0. all of the tight results have been taken, pretty much.
4-3.
I'm nervy. I'm not going to lie. We're going in with the same team that lost to them twice last season. They've improved. They've started the season with a win. I hope you lot are right, but I'm going to go 1-1.
They looked good yesterday. They did look good. I mean, West Ham weren't quite at it, but Villa did look good.
There was a bit of hope that Emery, another season, it starts falling apart. So yesterday I was watching, but they look good. They look good. Duran comes on and then gets a goal, and backup striker could do with one of those. But yeah,
good player, Duran. Comments of the week, is it?
Yeah, that's all the predictions in. Just a reminder, James has gone 1-0, Jordan's gone 2-1, Lee's gone 2-0, and I've gone 1-1. That's for Aston Villa this weekend, Saturday, 5:30 at Villa Park. So, comments of the day taken from the last show. Everyone ready?
Can I kick off? Yeah, I've got 3 quick ones, and there's a lot of love for James. I thought I'd dedicate my section to James.
That did surprise me. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
I don't know what that feels like, but I want to give James his flowers here. James speaks the most sense per minute of any content creator. Not perfect, but damn near close. Love the podcast. The chemistry is elite. Got to take your hat off to James. The poor sod turns up for an AFTV shift. Lee downing Stella, Turkish with the remaining icy pollen. Jordan packing up his house during the pod, while James is working his little trainer socks off, trying to make a half-decent podcast for us. Robbie, give this legend a pay rise. Thanks, James. Love for the people. That's especially sound like a relative or some kind of ex-girlfriend or something there that's showing you a bit of love. And the final one was, as a United fan, it's hard to not like James and appreciate him for the work he does and his insights into football. I've seen a few tactical analysis videos, and AFTV honestly couldn't have chosen anyone better to be presenting them. Seems like a lovely guy as well. Respect, James. He is a lovely guy.
That's really sweet of everyone. I mean, you honestly would think I'd set my family out just to go and fill up the comment.
Someone put that in a comment, like James's family's.
I saw that.
But yeah, it's very kind, everyone. Thank you, and thank you, Jordan, for.
Before we move on, can you let me what Jordan does per minute in the comment section below?
You're a bastard. What's Jordan's XG on the podcast?
Let's find out. Why not?
But no, that was very sweet. I did see that.
Well deserved as well, I have to say, though. I know.
That's really kind. Thank you.
Come on. Big up the Gooniverse.
Yes, thank you. That's where you'll see me as well. We had this from Ragtag Collective says, keep the banter. There's 1,000 other channels that we can find strictly Arsenal news. The chemistry is what makes the show. Which was followed by AFCT ID saying, if we didn't like the banter, we'd watch Tactical Insight. Just kidding.
Wow.
Wow, comment of the year, that one.
I've got one, though, that's kind of along the same line. This one's from Ford on Football. Big up. He says, we need the chat at the beginning of each episode. Without the chemistry, we might as well watch the Invincible podcast.
Jeez.
Oh.
By the way, everyone go subscribe to Ford on Football. He's got a great channel. But yeah, I like that. That's my comment of the year so far.
Jeez.
Right, before I do comments today, I've got to say this. Like a big up to Steve, the fireman from Kentish Town. Now, I was meant to give him a shout out a couple of weeks ago, and he pulled me again. Like, you know what firemen like. They're quite big guys, so I've got to put that in. Like, massive fan of the show. So I've got to say that. So Steve, the fireman from Kentish Town, I have now done it. I now can walk the streets of London safe. Yeah. So that's that one there. Like, listen, I've got a few as well. Quick couple of ones, but I thought this one was good. Hold on a minute. Like, where are we?
Come prepared.
In your own time, mate.
So, like, I thought it was like, $1.99 for Lee's grandma was very good. Like, you know what I mean? So when I said, like, I'll sell my grandma, and he put one.
$1.99. Bidding starts.
He got it for $1.99, which I thought was quite good. Like, you know what I mean?
Going once, going twice.
There's always the ones about the hashtag as well, like, you know what I mean, like central defender, hashtag left back, like, I thought was quite, was good. And I have to say, the other one was I've got here somewhere saying about the banter and everything like that. There's quite a few about the banter.
I just made a mockery of comments of the day.
Huh?
You've just made a mockery of
No, I've got
you've battered it. You've butchered it.
Like,
we also commented, there's
listen, everybody's been there. So Lee speaks the most sense per minute, any content creator. I've got all of that one. Like, he said that about everybody. This is another one which was very good. Like, 36-38. I laughed so hard I almost crashed on the highway. what a way to start my morning, like, you know. So,
But what happened at 36, 38? You need to investigate. This is the information we
The
need.
context, Lee. Come
yeah,
on.
he might.
Who knows?
Let's hope he didn't crash his car, obviously, because he wrote this afterwards. But, like, you know, I love when you see like comments where people lighten the banter and find it funny and all that. As I say, that's what makes the show, as far as I'm concerned. Like, you know.
Yeah, congratulations, Lee, as well. You made the show on time today, just about. So, yeah, a good start to the season. Hopefully, we continue in the same vein of form.
I can't believe it. Like, he's having a proper mood for being early. He didn't make the show the week before, like, you know what I mean? And I don't see a -1 on there. Like, did we agree to a -1? We did, didn't we, for him not turning up?
We didn't, but you nearly got a -1 yourself today, mate. So be on the ball next time.
Unbelievable. He took that table off when we mentioned -1. He don't want to get in there, does he?
Too many numbers on the screen. People.
I forgot to put my alarm on. That's what you got to say. I forgot to change my alarm. You get off. You get it off. You get let off.
No, I remember my favourite was the punctured tyre from after a flight. That was my favourite one. Remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
That was true. That was fucking true. That was actually true. Yeah, and you like that one. I got back at 4:30 in the morning.
We've heard some stuff on this podcast, but that
7:30 in the morning. Nah.
Because I know it was true, but I just knew that would wind you up.
Bro, because it sounds mad, innit? It sounds like we went to the car park. It's got a flat tire. It's 1:30 in the morning. We've got to wait. But yeah, I took my punishment for that anyway. That's how I lost the league.
No, you did.
Yeah. We rogue people, whatever it is, like, you know what I mean? So there you go.
Of course you do. Lee, James, and Jordan, as always, love for the love. People, community, forever Arsenal, viewers, lovers. Love for the lovers always. Hit the like button, make it 1,000 likes. Go show Gooniverse some lovely Judges TV. Whisper it loudly. Turkish LDN, the big six. And make sure you subscribe right here, people. Love for the love. We'll be back real soon. Peace.